back to this important discussion on diversity and inclusion. Now I have an opportunity to sit down with Linda Bell, who's with the University of Wisconsin-Parkside and serves in the role as Associate Athletic Director for Compliance and Senior Woman Administrator. Linda is going to speak to us today about being a person of color at a predominantly white institution and what that experience is like. So thank you for joining us.
No problem. So what I wanted to talk about today is just a little bit about my initial experience of working at a predominantly white institution. So when I got there, I was all excited. I got a job. I'm about to sign my contract. I'm happy. And the HR personnel said to me, "I just want you to know that you're the only African American woman on this campus as far as employment." And I wasn't sure what she meant by that, but I was thinking, okay, whatever. I'm still excited that I got a job. So, what she said to me wasn't bother. So as I continued, I was coaching volleyball. Okay. And so when I went to the gym, got to meet the kids, I, enjoyed my time with the kids. And so every time the staff would introduce me to someone, they would say, "Hey, have you met our black volleyball coach?" Not my name, but would call me black. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? So the first time it initially happened, I think I was more in shock than anything else. So it continued to happen. Mm-hmm. So then it started making me think that I was being devalued as a person. Not only as a person, but my knowledge base about what I was getting into and what we was about to start. So needless to say, the team did well, but I still felt like that wasn't a place for me to be. The students there that were of African American would come and talk to me every day. We would laugh, we would talk. They was just happy to see someone that looks like me, look like them, and actually have a conversation with me. So probably about 2 months in, athletic director calls me to the office, and he was like, "Are you having an inappropriate relationship with any of these students?" And I'm like, "What?" So when he said that to me, it just only made me realize that it was more devaluing that was going on for me. So needless to say, at the end of the year, I did leave the institution, but as I moved on to the next position as a coach, what I wanted to do is make sure that the student athletes that I was coaching also had a diversity, and not only that, but learn how to self-help themselves on campus. And so what I did was make sure that I didn't limit my recruiting base. I made sure that I went after every kid in every region just to make sure that I bring something different to the institution that I was at. So when I initially got to the institution, when you meet with the president and they ask you, "What do you want to do with our volleyball program?" I said, "I want to diversify the program." So he kind of laughed at me, and I'm like, "Okay, so what does that mean?" So I went ahead and went along with what my plans were, and I had the opportunity to do that. Not only did we have a great season, but we also had students who changed eating habits, embraced each other's culture, learned how to accept each other for who they were, and it was just an awesome experience. So I just wanted to send a message to everyone that no matter what our color, education, that we should be embracing each other as a whole. And so just going through that experience was really a tough situation for me, but I had the opportunity to make a difference at every institution that I've been employed at this time.
Absolutely. So you mentioned self-care, and I'd be curious from your point of view, what are some strategies that you would share with other people of color that find themselves at predominantly white institutions to be able to manage those issues, but also thrive in that environment?
Well, one, for me, I'm open. You have to be open-minded to everything, and that you hope that the people that you work with are open-minded to what you do. I know for me right now, as I come to work every week, my hair is always different. And so that's just because I like to do that. But I don't feel devalued in any way. They embrace what I do, and I embrace what they do. So the whole message is just to be open-minded and willing to accept people for who they are and what their culture is. So what I do is just tell people, hey, if you want to come and talk to me, hey, We just have to have safe havens where we make student athletes or just students in general feel comfortable about where they come from and who they are. So when you have a partnership with the student athletes and continue to talk to them openly, they'll be open to you as well, and they'll see between the lines that you are accepting them for who they are.
Definitely interested in terms of how you built this inclusive culture on your team. What were some of the steps you took to create that chemistry and make it an inclusive space for your players?
So one of the things we would do is every Sunday we would have a meal.
Okay.
So I actually had a kid from Canada. She ate differently. So we would let her cook a meal, or she make the menu, and so all the team got together and they all made the menu together. Another, we had a kid from California who didn't eat meat. So then that brought away all the kids who were eating fried foods, stopped eating fried foods. So, you know, it was kind of exciting to see the eating habits change. I had kids losing weight because of it, just because they embraced the different cultures and they accepted those roles. But not only that, but they learned how to eat healthier. So we did things like that together as a team so that we can learn from each other. And I treated no one differently, so that everyone got the same treatment from me. And so when they saw that there was no one better than the other, even if it was one of my best players, they still got treated the same. And so they kind of liked the fact that I was treating them all the same, and they saw that in me, and I showed them all that I cared about them through all their families as well.
Absolutely. In terms of how fellow administrators can be allies to you as a person of color, what would those strategies look like, or what would that message be?
Well, for me, I am very open, so when I go to talk to anyone, I just let them know exactly who I am and how comfortable I am within my skin. There is no question that someone can ask me that I think I will not get offended at this point, just being through all the issues that I have been through. So for me, I just learned how to communicate effectively, and if they communicate effectively to me, then there should not be a discrimination between what we talk about. So and that's the way I do that.
Well, thank you again for sharing your experience as well as the strategies in terms of building more inclusive campus and athletics department. And thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate it.